Wow. Craig, you sound different.
Now recording.
Oh, crap. Waples, you sound different. Oh, wait.
I am not Wakel. No.
No, I am the Grumpy Dungeon Master Jay. My co-host for the week is the Grumpy Dungeon Master Mike, who is a co-DM of mine. And Grumpy Dungeon Master Christopher Waples decided he was going to run away to Disneyland for who knows how long. So we're doing this on our own. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
How dare he have fun?
I know, right? He's supposed to be here sitting at home doing nothing.
Instead, he's off in a theme park spending thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
On second thought, I'd rather be here.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm not a big fan of most theme parks. I do really like Universal Studios, though.
They're pretty good. Took my wife there last year, and I think we had a pretty good time. They got a lot of our money, too.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of different times, and oh god, it's always so expensive, but hell of a lot of fun nonetheless.
So much good food, too.
Yeah. And then I've been to Six Flags in Atlanta a bunch of times also. But I don't really care.
Six Flags. Ooh.
Yes, it's a theme park, but I barely count it as a theme park.
It's a roller coaster park.
Yeah, it really is. I maybe they do shows there. I don't know. I've never.
I know they used to, but that was like 40 years ago.
Well, that was. I mean, I was a kid back then, but I've been 30.
Sorry, I just
30 something years ago.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting old.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the first time I went there, I was probably 12 or 13. So it would have been 35 plus years ago.
A while ago.
Yeah, good Lord, I'm getting old. But hey, with age comes experience, and with experience comes the ability to make your own tabletop role-playing game, hopefully.
and with experience comes the ability to level up.
And that is also true.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're done with that shitty banter.
Yeah, well, I never claimed to be good at this sort of thing or anything.
I mean, you're sort of being thrust on the spot. You've only done how many other podcasts you done with me? 1 or 2?
2 or 3, maybe, and those I actually had a little bit of prep time.
Yeah. This one.
You messaged me earlier, like, oh, it's today. By the way, I'm like, oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I saw you 2 days ago, and I'm like, I think we got another week before we do the podcast, and then Waples doesn't log on to Overwatch last night. And I asked our buddy Christian, hey, anybody heard from Waples? What's up? And he's like, I think they're leaving tomorrow morning. I'm like, what? Oh, shit. All right. I guess if they're leaving tomorrow morning, I better check up with him to make sure who's recording the podcast this week. Looks like it's me.
Turns out that's you, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's all right. I mean, dude's out there having a good time, living his best life.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't going to stop him.
No,
I couldn't stop him if I wanted to. He's 10 feet taller than I am.
Yeah. It'd be like trying to stop the Juggernaut.
I'm the Juggernaut.
Bitch.
The only good line from that movie.
Oh man, I was reading World War Hulk recently, and mind you, I stopped reading comics in the 90s, so World War Hulk is.
I didn't know they still made them.
Oh, yeah, they still make them. But I stopped reading in the 90s, so World War Hulk happened way after I quit reading comics. But Waples absolutely adores the shit out of that storyline. Like, he hates Thor 3 because it ruined World War Hulk. But anyway, so I was reading, I got a graphic novel it's a bunch of the side stories from World War Hulk. And one of them, it's where Hulk comes in after Xavier and he's going to fight the X-Men. And, he starts beating the hell out of all the X-Men. He beats up Juggernaut, who shows up sort of weakened because he wasn't fully accepting the gem's powers or whatever. And then after getting beat up by the Hulk, he has a conversation with the gem and takes on its full powers and then comes back to fight the Hulk. And then they start going, toe-to-toe, much closer, much more difficult to fight. And then the Juggernaut starts running at him, and the Hulk just sidesteps. And that's it. The Juggernaut, I guess, just runs all the way to New Jersey or something. Like he can't stop.
He juggernauted himself to death.
I guess so. Like it was the worst fucking ending to any Juggernaut Hulk fight I've ever seen.
It's the problem with the Incredible Hulk, though. How do you stop him? You got a guy, the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. The stronger he gets, the more unstoppable he gets. It's never-ending power creep.
I think Waples has told me some shit about it, but I truthfully I don't know. The Hulk was always beatable. Even when he got even Smart Hulk, when he was full strength, was always beatable. But something happened around World War Hulk. I guess he was maybe siphoning hell power or some shit that just it made him fucking actually unstoppable. Yeah.
Okay. Full disclosure, I am not at all familiar with the World War Hulk story arc. My only exposure to Incredible Hulk is the one copy of Hulk number. What is the first appearance of Wolverine? 181.
Some shit like
that. That's my only experience with it. I've got this one comic, and the only reason I've got it is money.
Yeah, a comic with the Hulk fighting Wolverine that you've probably never even read.
Nah, because it's in a glass case, and I only paid like $80 for it,
and it's worth like $800 or some shit. But
more like $2,000.
I don't know. Prices go up and down.
Sorry, here I am. We're supposed to be talking about D&D and crap, and here I am bragging about comics.
Have you ever listened to the podcast? Like, this is literally what we do.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, we will definitely get on to topics of role-playing games. I tried segueing us there a few moments ago, and then we
you absolutely did, but I got distracted making jokes about leveling up instead of talking about the game that we're supposed to be making.
Yes, the game that we were attempting to make. So, first things first is, why the hell would I ever want to make my own tabletop role-playing game?
And I can think of several reasons, and none of them are good.
Yeah, because literally there's a million gaming systems out there, and there are a lot of them that I absolutely love. You know, Dungeon Crawl Classics, Pathfinder, even D&D is fine. You know, all the OSR games. We're later on we're going to be talking about the top 11 role-playing games of 2024, and I'm sure there's several of them there I would love.
And I'm sure there's at least one we can both think of that's not there. D&D.
No, it's not definitely not in there. But the primary reason I've decided to try to make my own gaming system is simply for the fact of our table. Because we've been playing together a long time. We're all very experienced, and the systems that we're running just aren't meeting the needs for our game. And a lot of people would be like, well, just play 5e and make the adjustments, you know, make your own tables for stuff. That doesn't get to the core of what I actually want. Like D&D, go ahead.
As a group of players, when you say our table, he means our group of friends, and we have been playing this campaign setting since 5th edition came out.
Almost 10 years.
2015 when it came out?
Yeah, getting close to 10 years.
Yeah. And this same game has been ongoing since that time. And we've since swapped over to Pathfinder, and that ran its course. And like Jay just said, we needed something that suited our needs better.
Yeah. D&D plays very smoothly. It's very nice. It's clean, but it has no creativity when it comes to characters. You are if you are a 10th level paladin, who I don't know. Well, let's say if you're a dragon sorcerer, 10th level, you are literally the exact same as every other dragon sorcerer that's 10th level.
I mean, the problem 5e has is you've got X class. X class has 3 subclasses. Moving on to the next class that also has 3 subclasses.
Yeah,
there's no variety.
And barring the 2 feats or so that you'll get, because you get one every 4 levels, and
unless you're a fighter,
and whatever race you pick, then like you're just the same as every other class out there.
And a warlock is a warlock is a warlock.
Yep. that never cut it for me. Like I loved third edition because of the creation of characters. You could make whatever you wanted. Uh, Pathfinder allows great creation of characters. You can adjust however you want. There's so many feats that you can pick from and everything. But
It's
the
a
the
lot to keep track of.
it is a hell of a lot to keep track of, and the math is too high.
And it makes running the game as a DM almost a chore.
Oh, it's definitely a chore. Definitely. Because there's also the issue of hit point bloat that is not going to be fixed in D&D. Like that'll never happen.
And you've really got the same problem in Pathfinder. You're just a sack of hit points.
Yep. Yeah, and Pathfinder, it's almost certainly going to be the same way because, rather than roll for hit points or anything like that, you just get an automatic set amount at every level. But those numbers, like what did we wrap up our campaign at? 12th level? Everybody was like 120, 130 hit points or some shit.
It was ridiculous. I had a witch in this one, and even a spellcaster's hit points were into the hundreds, which is absurd.
Yep. So, many of the enemies that you start hitting at some point are going to be 300 hit points, and that becomes a chore to keep up with that much math. It really does.
And even on the other side of the table, as a player, it just feels like you're just grinding away at the same thing. How many times do I have to punch this kobold before it falls?
Yep. And I know with 4th edition D&D, they had what was called minions. And minions was sort of an interesting idea. If it gets hit, it just dies. But it still can do some damage. So if it's 10th level minion, I would imagine it hits like probably like a 6th or 7th level character would hit, or
it kind of reminds me of a summons ability in Gloom or Frosthaven.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But dies very easily.
Yeah.
But that's it. Obviously, that didn't go over well for a lot of people because that system quickly went away with 4th edition. So what I wanted was a system that flows very smoothly. It's quick to play. It's not too god awful much of a burden, at least numbers wise, on the DM and the players, and that allows you to build whatever kind of character you want to build.
It sounds perfectly acceptable. Jay, how do you make such a system?
Through lots of trial and error. Lots of painful nights of sitting here not sleeping because I was working on this shit at 2 a.m. and
it's actually kept you up, huh?
When I first started working, trying to get everything into order, yes. Don't ever do that, by the way. If you sit there and actively try to think hard on stuff right before bed, you're not going to sleep. Your brain's still going to be working.
You're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah. That's why I normally just play some Overwatch and watch a little YouTube before bed. Brain numbing bullshit.
I mean, it is a challenging concept. How do you make an interesting RPG that is playable, balanced, without having to include unnecessary math?
Yeah. Oh, the other thing that I wanted in there, I wanted role playing more akin to 1st and 2nd edition D&D.
Okay, something like would be featured in Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Yeah, I wanted a game that does not use the charisma stat. I did.
Oh, now you're getting risky.
I know, right? I mean, there's not a lot of games out there that don't have some sort of a persuasion or charismatic skills.
But you're actually going to make me use my own natural, silky smooth charisma to role play something?
Let's be completely honest. There are some players who are just gonna be better not having that charisma stat than others. I'm definitely kind of shooting myself in the foot by not having that.
I don't think so.
But if you want to convince that kobold to do something, how about role play it and the DM make that decision? Was your conversation good enough?
Yeah, tell me, how are you going to make the kobold fold paper cranes until his hands give out?
Yeah.
I don't know why you would do that, but
Well, if you
bad
convince that
example.
kobold, if I can convince the kobold that by making these paper cranes until his hands bleed, that he and the rest of his tribe will all get extremely wealthy, and then they could pay off a dragon to come and protect them with that money.
Because they're selling the paper cranes at the craft fair next week.
hmm And don't worry,
Okay.
I will show up there to sell these things for you. You don't have to make an appearance because I know the locals don't really like kobolds very much, but I'll take care of that. I will hand off all of the money to you as soon as that's over with.
Okay. The
And
kobold scratches his head and looks at you suspiciously.
here, look, I will even upfront you some money. And then I hand them like, five.
Kobold agrees.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You just have to throw a little
Wait a minute,
bribery
you're
in there.
playing my character. I mean, that's the way I play characters. Throw money at the problem until it works.
Yeah, that's fair.
I bribed a guard with what, 800 gold?
Yes, when he absolutely would have taken less than 50.
Hey, but it worked.
Oh yeah, no, you got in. He did not. He just looked the
Yeah.
other way and just let you guys right on in. Uh, but yeah, like that's sort of the reason that I wanted to try to make this thing. I hope that at some point it actually does see the light of day. I know myself well enough. I'm very very ADD about things. But this, I'm actively working on it. I have multiple other people helping me with it.
Hmm.
You've been working your
You've got a
ass off
good,
on these character sheets.
I would say that. You've put in a lot more hours than I have, and the character sheets is just something I'm doing because it interests me greatly, and I'm
It
excited about it like you are.
it's
I want this to be something incredible.
Yeah. I mean, the character sheets thing is, I'm not an organized person. You know that very much so.
Yeah.
And structuring stuff like this is not my bag. It's not my thing. It's not my cup of tea.
Have you seen my office recently? I don't think I'd call myself organized.
More so than I am, I think. Although
Fair
I
enough.
think most of the people at our table are a bunch of ADD assholes, though. So we're gonna have to
Yeah.
we'll have to hire somebody when we really try to put this thing together.
To be perfectly fair, though, everybody in our group has a distinct set of strengths.
Yeah,
You know in your head what you want this system to be. I'm detail oriented enough and OCD enough where I can create a functioning, workable character sheet.
yeah.
And I don't know what everybody else is good at.
Well, like Johnny, which is the other DM in our group, like he's a creative type like I am. So
Yeah.
if he can find 2 minutes away from the 32 kids he's got, I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
I'm sure he will sit down and actually
Yeah.
throw lots of
Yeah.
ideas out there.
Muffin understands rules. He
Yeah,
gets how things work together. He
yeah,
gets the bigger picture, I think.
yeah. Another good thing with having Johnny on board is he is actually a bit of a min maxer, which is what when you're
Yeah.
trying to break a system, you have to have people like that. Him and Drew would be fantastic for that because they are.
Which Drew, if you're listening, get with it, man. We need you at the table to play test this thing, dude. Come on.
Yeah, we've been through two play tests and they've worked out rather well so far, and we've seen where changes need to be made, and
Yeah.
that's why you play test things. I expect that this will take probably the next year before
I think that's on the conservative end of things, but yeah.
yeah. I would give it at least a year. So maybe
Yeah.
by December of next year, January of next year, we'll start really pulling this thing together as a product that could potentially be released to the public. Now, how am I going
Yeah,
to?
we're gonna bring this thing to market, man.
How would I release this to public? Because I'm not looking to make money. I really am not. I just I want a system that works for me. And if I talk about it on this damn podcast, there's going to be other people that at some point want to see it.
Yeah.
So it would.
It's gonna have to grow organically. Heck, I mean, you could even go to trade conventions and sell it.
Oh, sure, yeah. Show up at cons and just
Yeah.
play it and everything. But
Yeah.
it would probably be released. I'd probably put together a Patreon or something, or maybe I would never put it on or not DM Guild, but
No.
Drive Through
No.
RPG. Like I don't want it released that way because then they take you know 40% of
They get their
anything.
cut.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's definitely marketable, and from everything that we've seen in our 2 play tests, combat has been silky smooth. Everything is just pop, pop, pop. There's not a lot of waiting around. It's really well balanced, and it's really fun, fast paced, and exciting. Even the initiative system is fast paced and exciting and interactive.
Yeah, the combat system, like the rounds of combat, do not take any longer than a D&D 5e game. And honestly,
I think they're quicker.
yeah, I think they're a little quicker. The initiative system we've worked up, it works real well.
Yeah, it's almost a hook in and of itself, and I'm not even going to talk about it here because, again, y'all will find out when you find out.
Yeah, I don't mind talking about it. I've briefly even told Waples about it on the podcast last time I talked about this on here.
Oh, I must have missed that. I
Yeah,
apologize.
well, it's fine. It's everybody essentially just makes an initiative roll, just like in D&D, but it's sort of a tiered system. You know, if you get you're rolling for a number of successes. So effectively, the whole thing is based off of D10s. You roll a certain number of D10s for everything that's a 7 or higher. It's counted as a success. And if you have no successful rolls, then you go at the bottom of the initiative. And then there's another tier. If you have 1 or 2 successes, you're on the next tier up, 3 or 4, the next tier up, and so on up. And so everybody who's on initiative on that, say first tier will go at the same time. Players have to decide amongst themselves who is going to go. And the DM, if he's on that same tier, he just goes last at that tier.
You've got enough of an unfair advantage as it is.
Yeah, you're the game master. you
Yeah.
can you just have an advantage in general from being the game master, so you get to go last in that round of combat. But having the players have to work together, say they're on second tier and they're all there's 3 people who have to go at the same time, deciding who is going to go first and who's going second and who's going third makes a massive difference in how combat plays out.
Yep. It forces the players to think a little bit more strategically.
Yep. And that was another thing I wanted with this game, was a game that actually has the strategy of Pathfinder or D&D. Because we're still playing on like a grid-based game. You still have certain amounts of movement that you can take every round, certain number of attacks that you can make every round.
And it functions well in that format.
Yeah, because I personally, I love the lighter role-playing rules, but I like the heavier strategy rules of a board game effectively, because that's what D&D is now.
Yeah, that is what it has become really since 4th edition. They moved it heavily in that direction.
Yep.
And they kept a lot of those rules in 5th. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. You got to handle combat somehow, and theater of the mind just doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yep. Like there are games I will absolutely run theater of the mind, and sometimes I'll run D&D theater of the mind. I've done it a lot with you guys.
Many times, and it works.
Yep.
It's all depending on your players and what they want.
Yeah. But if you're going to be playing a combat heavy game, it definitely helps having a board laid out in front of you and just seeing where everything is at.
Absolutely, especially like with what we're talking about here. If you want some sort of strategic involvement, you have to have a visual representation of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't care if it's minis or those cool little bitty sticker things that you bought at the deep discount. As long as you can see where everybody's at and what they're doing.
I'm a little surprised by those things. They actually work really well.
I'm pleasantly surprised. I mean,
yeah, he's
wow.
Mike's talking about the Dungeons and Dragons campaign cases that were at sale for sale at Ollie's right before Christmas. And I picked up a couple of them, and while the board, like the layout board, it's kind of
the little dungeon tile.
Yeah, that's kind of meh. But the poker chip one for all the monsters with the stick-ons, that's been working great.
Oh, they're just solid, man. And like we kind of discovered this time, if a creature dies, you don't even have to remove it. Just flip the token over.
Yeah, corpse
And,
is
it's a
still
dead
there.
body there. Yeah, it's great. It's beautiful.
Especially since we had somebody who was playing a necromancer.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? I completely forgot about that.
Yep.
But I like the ideas that we've come up with so far, and I think if we were to play test this with complete strangers, I think they would probably enjoy it too.
At some point, once we get more things fleshed out, I definitely will be doing that. I'll have to find some locals that play tabletop games and see if we can get them interested. Or if nothing,
Local.
or if nothing else, I'll take a trip up to Raleigh. I know a lot of tabletoppers up there.
Oh, that's good to know. We've got a local shop. We could always hit them up too and see.
Yeah, and
Two local shops actually.
we have two. I know one.
Yes, we do. There's another one, and this is going to be completely local, and people listening are going to be
Man,
like,
we talk about shit that
bothering?"
happens in Charleston all the time. So
Fair enough. I'm not going to bring up Zenergy because that's in Charleston, but that's a local shop. I think they're called Coco's over there next to Papa John's in Oxford.
really,
And his primary shtick is selling Funko Pops.
oh,
But
that one.
yes, they've got the contract with Games Workshop now that my store used to have.
Oh shit, they
God
do.
rest its soul. Yes,
Huh.
they've got the GW contract, which means they've got a gaming community.
Apparently, yeah. If you've got the Warhammer stuff, then all right. There's going to be at least,
Yeah.
there's definitely going to be a gaming community. Maybe I'll have to swing in there on a Saturday just to see what's going on.
It couldn't hurt. I think it'd be worth your time.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, any last thoughts on this thing before we move on to the next topic?
No, I'm completely excited about it, man. I really am. Even my wife, she's given me feedback about it, and I'm
She's
super stoked. She has fit into our group just so perfectly. I think.
She's actually one of the reasons I wanted to make a system like this, because she's a bit autistic when it comes to math. Let's be real. And
she is on the spectrum, legitimately.
yeah, but when it comes to adding up larger numbers, I struggle with it, you struggle with it, and she really struggles with it. So going to a system where you're not having to count high numbers, you're just looking to see how many dice you rolled that are higher than 7 or 7 or higher.
Yep. How many 7 and ups do I have? Oh, it's easy. And I think she's really enjoyed being able to just drop, almost giddy about how many dice she's dropping every turn.
I'm probably going to have.
She's really enjoyed it.
I'm probably going to have to pull back just a tiny bit on that. She's play testing the rogue for us, and it's my God,
broken. It's not broken, but
it's not broken.
Dangerous.
Yeah, the amount of damage she's putting out at this level is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's fun. I'll give it that, and she seems to really enjoy it. So
yeah,
I appreciate watching her be happy about it. She gets D&D, and she got Pathfinder, but this seems to get her attention a little bit more, I think.
Yeah,
with the fast-paced nature of it. If there's any downtime, it'll lose her interest real quick.
Yep. I love playing.
You know what I mean.
I love playing with her, but man, that phone.
I know. That's that phone, man.
That's that hardcore addiction.
I get on to her about it too.
Yep,
and it's there, man. It's just there.
That's like a heroin addiction right there.
Oh, at least, except it won't kill you.
Yeah.
Unless you're driving.
Yep. Yeah.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is like heroin. Oh no. Oh.
Anyway.
Don't do drugs, kids. Yeah. Drugs are bad.
Drugs are bad. Okay. Except for marijuana and all the psychedelics.
Marijuana is bad.
Moving on, since we were just talking about miniatures, apparently.
Oh yeah, and another thing. Sorry, I keep harping back on the thing. I'm just excited about it. I have learned that when you're developing a new system and designing a character sheet specifically to work for it, oh my goodness, it's an ever-evolving thing.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know what you need until you know what you need.
Yeah, and it.
So much fun though. It's like a puzzle for me. The guy that hates puzzles, but I'm enjoying it. I love it.
You've been working on the character sheet for just over 2 weeks, and I know you just made up the 5th iteration of it.
Yeah, I know, it's great. I freaking love it, dude. It's more fun than the puzzle book from Frosthaven, which I hate.
Oh, why would you add those in there, Frosthaven? I love you, Frosthaven, but why?
such a good board game. You don't need puzzles in your board game. Sure, mixing things together works for Oreos, like with the peanut butter in my chocolate, but I don't want the puzzles in my board game.
Oh,
Sorry, we can move
I,
on now. I'm done.
I never would have gotten past that first puzzle. Never. I would have had to. I
Oh,
would have had no choice but to go internet that shit.
yeah,
Ugh.
bad taste.
So okay, moving on. Wiz-kids is celebrating D&D's 50th anniversary with its biggest miniature booster set ever.
You
Apparently,
mean somebody is celebrating Dungeons and Dragons?
well, I celebrated it
Wow.
for about 30 years. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so apparently, the 50th anniversary is this year, and there's going to be a whole lot of stuff.
Unreal.
Yeah, I know, right? There's going to be a whole lot of stuff coming out, and Wiz-kids is releasing a whole bunch of blind booster packs. Yay.
I love Wiz-kids. I love the product they make. All of their minis, for what you're getting, pre-painted product, it's really well done.
You have a ton of them.
Why? I do. But why do you have the blind pack everything?
Well, they
It
do it.
drives me insane.
They do it because they make more money that way. It's legal gambling.
It's like what Mel Brooks said, merchandising. That's where the real money is made.
Yeah, yeah, but it is.
But
It's legal gambling, just like Magic the Gathering is legal gambling.
yeah, yeah.
They release these things. You don't know what you're getting, and if you don't get the ones you want, then you can either order them off of eBay, or you have to keep buying
Or
their packs.
or go on their website and buy an 8 count. Now this is 8 small boxes that might have 5 minifigures in it for $200.
Yeah. Okay. So you can pre-order booster packs, each one containing 1 large mini and 3 medium or small minis.
Okay.
Here, or even supercharge your collection with the $200 booster bricks, which contains 8 booster packs with random minis. So that is, what is that? Is that $20 a box?
So we're doing 4. Okay, there's 8 in a box. We'll say round it up to 200 divided by 8. So yeah, it's $25 for a box. And each box has 4 minis in it.
That's,
or was it 5?
I think that's right. No, it's 4 minis. That seems ridiculous. $25
So
for random shit.
You were paying $6.25 for one little bitty 1-inch tall minifigure. Just one little bitty guy.
Yep. But
That's
the neat thing about this set, much more so over their previous ones, is they're releasing 2 different minis of the same type. So using,
which is really cool.
yeah, the very first one there, just on the website we're on, is the Lemure, which is a demon. I think it's like a mane.
Yes.
It's the smallest of all of the demons or devils.
It's just a pile of flesh.
Yes, but the 2 different ones they're releasing of the Lemure, one of them I believe is the 5th edition art, and the other one is the 1st edition D&D art.
And that 1st edition art is just terrifying.
That's disgusting looking.
Yes. And you've got the Bugbear on there too.
Yeah, the 5e Bugbear looks fine. It looks like a bugbear wearing like leather armor with horns and a 2-handed battle axe. And then you have the 1st edition Bugbear, which, let's be honest, it looks dumb as hell, and I absolutely adore it and would use it for all of my Bugbears.
He's just an adorable little dum-dum. He really is. He's like
he's holding a pole arm with one arm. He's got like Chewbacca skinny legs and this fat round body.
I could just see. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of Brack from the Brack
Holy
show.
shit, he does.
It's hey guys, it's me, Brack.
He does. He looks like Brack.
It's amazing. I love this guy.
We're not going to go through all of them. The Goblin minis, whatever. The Kobold minis, I love because
I really like the Kobold.
They have the 5th edition Dragonoid Kobold mini doing the God, what do they call it? The Star Wars with the spear.
the sand
ray. Yeah, yeah. He's doing that with a spear. And then they've got the first edition of them where they actually look like the proper kobolds. They're dog-like creatures.
Yeah. I got that dog snout going on.
Yes.
And then they've got this epic looking first edition dwarf. He's got freaking chainmail on him, big stompy boots. His little looks like a ball peen hammer.
He looked like
he's got that beard.
He looks like
epic beard.
He looks like Bruner Battlehammer, except he's wielding a hammer instead of an axe.
Yeah. And then you got the 5th edition. That's just a red-haired chick.
Yeah. I am very disappointed in this one. Like, it's perfectly okay having a female dwarf, but give her a goddamn beard. That's not much to ask. Give her a beard. Dwarfs have beards.
Not a dwarf. Dwarves just aren't small people that have hammers.
Yeah.
No, they're small people that have hammers and beards.
Yep, beards are important if you're a dwarf.
It's everything if you're a dwarf. I like the first edition Ifrit.
Oh yeah. Hang on, let me get over to. Let's back up a
That
few.
dude is scary. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. The shadow is pretty cool. They've got the first edition when
there's a shadow.
Yeah, a shadow demon. Sorry, shadow demon. Yeah, it was right after you had the dwarf, then the elf, then the shadow demon.
Okay, I'm on Wiz-kids page and I'm not seeing it.
Oh, okay. I'm on the IGN article I linked you.
Oh, okay.
Where they have all 50 of them listed. Here, let me send you that link real quick.
I've got it right here.
Right.
Ooh, Strahd.
Oh yeah, but the shadow demon for the 5e shadow demon looks badass. It looks baller. They have a mimic, and they have the new mimic, which is it's okay. It looks like a chest sitting on a purple and blue tongue. And then there's the first edition mimic, which is just a chest with a big ass fist coming out the side of it, and it is amazing.
It reminds me of Skeletor walking through a mirror and then reaching through the mirror to punch it.
Yes. They have the first edition Githyanki, the first edition Glabrazu. What else have they got? First edition Tanari.
Is that a slod?
Yeah, they have a slod. They've got Flail Snail.
I saw the Flail Snail, and he looked incredible.
And then they have the first edition Strahd, which is him in his suit with his red and black cape, sort of gray.
Is that Mordenkainen?
I'm not sure. I think it's Kelvin. I think it's Kelvin Blackstaff for the wizard. They've got two wizards.
Okay. The bald one has got to be Mordenkainen.
Yeah, the bald one is. I mean, they could potentially both be Mordenkainen, but I think the first one is Kelvin Blackstaff, but I don't know that for sure.
Okay. It would make sense.
But it could just be. It could be Mordenkainen first edition art, as opposed to him years later. So
you said Strahd. I see what a guy that is clearly Dracula and a picture of Strahd.
Yes, they have a Dracula, and then they have a guy sitting in a throne.
And the guy sitting on the throne is holding what appears to be a fistful of Draculas.
Definitely is holding a fistful of Draculas. And then the next one after that is Lolth in her drow form, and then Lolth in her Drider. Yes.
In Drider form. Drider Lolth is a terrifying thing to behold. Do you know what I haven't seen? Any beholders?
Yeah, I don't think they have one. No, it doesn't look like it.
They've got two different Aetherax.
Yeah, there's two Aetherax, two gold dragons. They have the original Dungeons and Dragons art, the statue that was having his eye stolen. And they have him with both eyes sitting there, and then they have him running after his eyes been stolen, chasing the thieves.
So that thing did animate?
I guess
originally? So. I've never seen it in a standing position.
Yeah, I hadn't either.
Before. Weird. I love the gold dragons. They
did standard gold dragon and then the Chinese gold dragon, which is also, if you look at it, and Waples pointed this out, I didn't notice it initially, it's in the Dungeons and Dragons ampersand sign.
Oh, Lord, it is.
Yeah,
I mean, why
it's
not?
fine. And then the last one,
I mean, if you're going to design, even the pattern of the flame is the exact
oh
same
yeah,
pattern of the
yep.
ampersand flame.
And the last one
Yeah,
is the Ifrit. I
beautiful.
do love the first edition Ifrit.
He's
Yep. And if you
scary.
don't know what he looks like, just Google it. First edition Dungeons and Dragons Ifrit.
The Efreet is tired of the Wheel of Wonders. The Wheel of Wonders is closed.
Yes. But I love the fact that they used a lot of they used several of them that were Errol Otis's art from first edition. But
Yeah.
uh,
That first edition art just hits so differently, man.
yeah, it reminds me.
They've also got a couple of other things. Did you see the Dungeons Icons of the Realms 50th anniversary Red Dragon
I
box
have.
miniature?
Wait. Yes, I saw it today. Actually,
It's
I
a
think Luke
it's
Gygax posted a photo of it.
he's a $30 standalone dragon figure sitting. I sent it to you through Facebook. Sitting atop a hoard of gold.
Oh,
He's
okay.
really
No,
beautiful.
I have seen this one recently. It wasn't Luke Gygax that posted it though.
Okay. They've got another one that is a red dragon wormling foam figure. I think it's 1-to-1 scale, and it's
Oof.
$650. Waples, if you're listening, I know
Of
you
course he
want it.
wants it. He's probably already
It'll sit there right next to his Karask. It's
he's
two and a
probably
half
already
feet tall.
pre-ordered it and he's figuring out shelf space right now as we
Yeah,
talk about it.
he probably has. And yeah,
But
it's not as neat looking to me though. I like the Red Dragon minifigure a
yeah,
lot
I
better.
mean,
I think.
look, I'm a simp for the first edition art. I can't help it.
I can't blame you. That artwork just hits so different, man. It's the hard hitting, beautiful,
Yeah.
imagination inspiring
Speaking
artwork.
of actual art, very briefly, we're going to talk about a game that I found out about, and I ordered it almost immediately. Uh, it was a
Okay,
Kickstarter last year, and somehow I never heard about it. But it's called Sorcery Contested Realm, and yeah,
never
it's
heard of it.
literally just a Magic the Gathering sort of knockoff. Like it plays very similar. It's got mana cost for things. You got creatures and auras that you do things with. Your lands are a little bit different than in Magic the Gathering, but the primary reason I'm even bringing this thing up, they are only using actual physical art. There is no there
You mean no
not
AI
no
artwork?
not only no AI, no CG. Every
Oh wow, I can
every
respect that.
piece of art that is in this game has a physical piece of art that was made by an artist. Some of it, I think they paid the artist to get the art done, and some of it they have basically paid to have rights to use it because Death Dealer,
Hmm.
the Death Dealer art is in there. There's a bunch of Jeff Easley art that's in there, but a lot of it is newer artists and some of the art's
Hmm.
so-so, but some of it is absolutely amazing because Frank Frazetta is, he has several pieces that are on these cards as well.
Oh
Yeah, well,
wow,
that's what I said. They paid to have use the rights for like Death Dealer and several Frazetta pieces for their cards.
that's pretty cool. And it's a card game like Magic the
Yep.
Gathering.
Yeah, I ordered it. There
Hmm.
there are four. There's a few different. There's booster boxes that you could play. You can draft just like in Magic the Gathering. They also sell a 4-pack that's basically four different decks, one for each of the elements that you can choose from. And that's what I ordered
Hmm.
was those. So hopefully they'll be here within a week or two, and then I can actually play the game.
Sounds pretty cool. I'll gladly sit down and play it with
Uh,
you if you'd like.
but
Sounds like a
you've
good
never
time.
played Magic the Gathering.
I've played Magic. I just don't buy into the buy more
Oh, okay.
cards Ponzi scheme that
That is
is
another
Magic.
thing that they've done with this game that I really like. They are only planning on releasing one set a year. Not
I
not
like that.
not
Whereas
6 to
Magic
8
is just
every fucking year to the point that your eyes are bleeding because there's too many fucking cards.
Magic has
It did.
jumped the
Yeah.
shark because you've got
Yep.
Doctor Who Magic, you've got Transformers Magic, you've got. I'm surprised you don't have
No, you
GI
do.
Joe Magic yet.
I'm fairly
What?
sure. Let's
Oh my god!
there's Street Fighter. I know.
Thundercats
G.I.
magic and
Joe.
He-Man magic and
No, there is a GI Joe deck building game, but okay, apparently they have not crossed over yet. But when Street Fighter joined in, and as much as I love Street Fighter, I was like, man, I'm out. I'm done with this.
it's just
Yeah, I will
silly.
probably. I doubt I'll ever sell my Magic cards, and if people want to play, then I'll play. But I'm sure I'm never going to buy any more cards at this point, unless
So do
I'm
you
buying
think
like really old cards.
do you think Luke Skywalker would be a planeswalker?
Oh, sure, he would be.
And if he was a planeswalker, would he be Luke Planeswalker?
But on bumped. He definitely has to be blue for his mana cost because blue is air. So
Yeah,
since he is a
I see what you did there.
Skywalker, huh?
Yeah, something dark
Something
side.
complete. I mean, Disney and Magic are already doing crossovers, so it is only a matter of time until you see those cards.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
yeah, I could have.
Disney and Magic? I know
Yeah,
Disney
they
has
have
their own
Lorcana,
game that
but no,
Lord.
Magic the Gathering and
Yeah.
Marvel are crossing over.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Yeah,
what?
Magic the Gathering, Magic the Gathering Marvel collaboration begins. Yeah, they're
I'm
doing Magic the Gathering
just gonna
Magic the Gathering is doing Marvel cards.
I'm just gonna take off my headset
Yep,
and go home now.
it comes in 2025, and it's a multi-year, multi-set deal. So you can be absolutely sure, so long as this doesn't, as long as they don't shit the bed on this, at some point you will absolutely have a Magic the Gathering Luke Skywalker card.
Damn you, Hasbro. No.
Yep. So
I've lost the will to
well,
live.
I can get it back for you because now we're going to talk about the last
How?
topic that we're going to talk about. At the very, very least, I know for sure there's one game in this list that will cheer you up.
Oh, that's right. The top RPG list that you
it's on
mentioned.
Dice.
Okay, you got my attention again.
We're on dicebreaker.com. Best tabletop RPGs 2024 that aren't Dungeons and Dragons. So these are for this year. These are not from last year, although a lot of these were released last year. And I don't think we need to go through into too much detail into all of them because a lot of them I don't know the first thing about, but we can at least talk briefly about them. They have them in an order. I don't necessarily think that's needed. Yeah,
I mean,
it's the top 11. It doesn't mean they're the best one's number one, number two, etc. The first one they have is Perils and Princesses, and it's sort of a light humor kind of Brothers Grimm tabletop game where you play princesses.
What we really need is a Princess Bride RPG.
Doesn't that exist?
I know it would be inconceivable, but it needs to happen if it hasn't already.
Amazon.com, the Princess Bride role-playing game came out in 2018. I thought there was one. I was pretty sure I'd seen it before. Yeah.
Excuse me, I've got to take a trip to the store real quick. I'll be back.
Yeah. Well, you'll just order it on Amazon because you're not going to find it locally.
Okay, that's fair. But back to the topic at hand. It's ADD.
I know, right? Well, you got two ADD people doing a podcast now. Somehow I'm the one holding the structure together. What the fuck?
We need to make an ADD podcast. It would be about everything and nothing.
We could make that. Well, actually, they did make that. It was called Seinfeld.
Nah, you're not wrong.
So anyway, Perils and Princesses. The next one, I actually have the PDF of this next one. It's called Coyote and Crow, and it's an interesting setting. It's basically alternate future where if there was no colonization of the New World and where things are at, and mind you, it's sort of science fiction. But yeah, like the designers of it are they're actually Cherokee, I believe, or at least native tribes.
The Cherokee with laser pistols.
Yes. Yeah, kind of.
My people, I love it.
Yep. I'll just read kind of what they got real quick. At first glance, Coyote and Crow treads familiar ground. The tabletop RPG setting presents a future vision of Earth transformed in the wake of global climate crisis for players to explore. Both on and off the table, however, Coyote and Crow represents something new. Created by an indigenous led team headed up by Cherokee designer Connor Alexander, the RPG imagines a world where colonization never occurred, breaking free of the Eurocentric influences and philosophies established by the likes of D&D. And like, it's a cool thought. I like
Yeah,
future
I
world
like that
settings. Yeah.
concept. Yeah, yeah, alternate reality settings. This next one, the artwork and description really kind of captivated me. Delta
Oh yeah,
Green.
yeah, yeah. No, I love this one.
Uh,
The artwork is really sort of
yeah,
off-putting. I can't describe it. I would just
yeah.
suggest looking it up. But it's kind of an X-Files inspired horror game, of which
I get Magnus Archives vibes from it
yeah, yeah,
even.
yeah. Yeah, but you have aliens, you
Yeah.
have cryptids, you have all the weird shit, all the conspiracy theories. And you know me, I love conspiracy theories.
I wonder if Bat Boy's there.
He could be.
Bat Boy wrote his own RPG and it's called Delta
Yeah. I
Green.
mean, honestly, Bat Boy is behind all of it.
Probably.
The next one they have is Blades in the Dark, and I have been hearing about this one a lot over the past.
Ocean's 11 in a dark steampunk
Yeah,
world.
I think that I want to say that the Critical Role crew ran some Blades in the Dark on stream a while back, which is probably why it really sort of picked
Hmm.
up. But yeah, it's kind of a neat setting, I think. Sort of steampunk, but it's more of a murder mystery type thing. Gangs, guards, and even ghosts.
Yeah, it's almost like a film noir
Yeah,
feel to
at
it.
least the artwork kind of gives that vibe. The artwork they
Yeah.
have in this article is very sort of Edward Gorey.
Yeah. I like the first paragraph. The city of Duskville is a dangerous place. Its streets are filled with gangs, guards, and even ghosts. It's also the setting for a steampunk fantasy role-playing game.
Blades
Yeah.
in the Dark.
I like that first. Yeah, I like that first
Yeah,
sentence. It sets the mood that it's dark and disturbing and kind of Jack the Ripper.
yeah, yeah. The next one they have on the
Yeah.
list is Starfinder. Eh,
Now, nobody's ever
yeah,
heard of
yeah, and
Starfinder.
I mean, I own first edition Starfinder stuff. I've yet to get to run it, but I know Starfinder second edition is coming out, I guess, this year, which is why they're premiering it on
Yeah.
here. And
I know our other DM Johnny has expressed a lot of interest in running a game
oh
in
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Starfinder.
I would absolutely
Yeah,
play Starfinder because it's Pathfinder 2E, except it's in space with different
yeah,
races and classes
yeah.
and
Which
stuff.
is, I mean, everything's better in
Usually,
space, isn't it? Yeah.
this other one is Mork Borg, and I've heard Professor Dungeon Master talked about this one a while back. Most fan of
Morkborg is the sweetest of the RPG.
no,
The
no, no,
Borg,
no,
Borg,
wrong,
Borg, with the
wrong
role
Borg,
playing
wrong
game.
Borg.
It's not the Borg. It's
No,
not the
no.
Borg.
Okay,
Borg.
you are
It's the
taking
Borg.
too much from the Mork and not enough from the Borg.
The Borg,
Not enough
Borg.
from the Borg. Oh,
The
you're not a
Borg.
Star Trek fan, are you? You don't know shit about the Borg.
No, no, not the first. Not the Borg. Destroy the
Okay, so
turkey.
Morkborg. Most fantasy role-playing games, such as D&D, want to offer their players a world where they can wield powerful magic, gleaming swords, and fiery axes in order to save people. Morkborg takes a slightly different approach by presenting a gloomy world where characters must struggle to survive and people may not deserve to be saved. An apocalyptic RPG, Morkborg isn't about being a hero, it's about finding something worthwhile to cling onto as the last vestiges of humanity turn to ashes. This is
Wait, did you say cling on
yes.
to? Cling on?
I see what you did there. This is my kind of a game,
Yeah.
though. Like I've talked about running something like this before.
I would totally play this. It sounds insanely intriguing. I can't get past the title.
Moving on. City of Mist.
I'm sorry.
City of Mist.
I'm
This one
sorry,
looks like
Jay.
a superhero one. I have not read about this one actually. Um, Finding the right tabletop RPG for your group can be tricky. Some players might be after classic fantasy with magic and myth, while others prefer modern day settings and technology. City of Mist is a game that should please just about everyone you play it with, deftly weaving together a smorgasbord of influences and genres into an atmospheric, approachable adventure. Okay, so it uses the Powered by the Apocalypse system, which is another very famous gaming system. And
the third paragraph is somewhat interesting. The characters are superheroes.
Okay, they are superheroes.
Whose powers are rooted in classic myth, legend, fairy tales, and folklore, whether that's biblical legends or the mythology of cultures from around the world and across history. So your hero could be any form of biblical or mythological.
Is that really too much different from most of the things out there, though? Like a lot of the superheroes already are.
Yeah, but you could totally straight up play Perseus.
Yeah, or I could just play.
I'm effing Perseus. Thor. Nice to meet you, Thor. My name is Moses.
Right, exactly.
How are you doing?
You could just.
What's your power? I'm
the god of thunder and lightning.
Oh, very, very exciting.
Anyway, that one does not really intrigue me all that much. But for people who are into the Powered by the Apocalypse system, I'm sure they're all about it. I knew the next one would grab you. It's called Lancer, Lancer. It's a mech RPG inspired by the likes of Evangelion and Gundam. And I know you like BattleTech more than I do.
I like giant robots, man. I mean, I'm surrounded by thousands of Transformers.
That is fair.
Speak.
Any RPG that's going to have giant mechs, I know you're going to be all about. I would definitely play them, but giant mechs has never really been my thing other than BattleTech. I really enjoy BattleTech.
Yeah.
But
I think for me, BattleTech, it's just the look and feel of those mechs. They look like something that really could be real.
Yeah, at some point, if they figure out proper power system, a way to properly power something like that.
Yeah, nuclear fission. Problem solved.
Number 9 on this list was Fabula Ultima, the best tabletop RPG for video game fans, and it's literally
It's Japanese.
It's Final Fantasy and role-playing game.
That's exactly. The artwork screams, "Oh, it's the waifu from that game you played 2 years ago."
Which look, I'm glad they have a game like this. It's not my thing, but
I mean, JRPGs have their place. It's unfortunate that SquareSoft has forgotten what that place is.
Yeah.
I'm looking right at you, Final Fantasy 16, because you suck.
So this next one, this is my game of the year for 2024. I haven't played it.
Okay.
I've just seen this, and it's my game of the year for 2024.
Okay.
It is called
Brindlewood Bay.
Brindlewood Bay. You play as a group of grannies investigating eldritch terrors in a sleepy town. And I'm going to read the entirety of this thing because it is amazing.
Please.
Iconic television show Murder, She Wrote and the Cthulhu mythos don't initially seem to be the most compatible matchup, at least at first. However, Rules Light TRPG Brindlewood Bay somehow makes the unusual combination work very well. Taking place in a sleepy and picturesque New England town called Brindlewood Bay is a role-playing game in which players become a group of elderly ladies who pass the time with book club readings and investigations into the occult. The Brindlewood Bay.
Picture it, 1924, Brindlewood Bay.
Well, it's not even. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be 1924. You could just set it whenever. Though Brindlewood Bay certainly has elements of horror, which will intensify as the game progresses, it balances them out with softer and slower aspects. Every player character will have their own cozy activity that they can perform to decompress and look after themselves, such as baking, stamp collecting, figure painting, and more. The player characters are encouraged.
I want to work on ceramics.
Oh, I'd be a knitter. I have to be a knitter.
Cross
yeah, I'm a cross stitcher. The player characters are encouraged to support one another regardless of whether their potentially disparate personalities gel. Every session of Brindlewood Bay is presented as an episode of a TV show with the game's master narrating the beginning of the episode as the player characters enjoy their cozy activities. However, the tone can darken quite a lot as the plot thickens and the eldritch horrors threatening the town make their move. The players will need to take in account that they are controlling older characters who aren't used to dealing with such great dangers, meaning that they'll have to tread especially carefully, thereby upping the fear factor. Everything about
Need to play
everything
this
about
game.
this game
I,
screams wonderful.
I, I need to play this game, and I need somebody in the background on an old pump organ playing Days of Our Lives music with a narrator. Last time
Last
on
time
Days
on
of Our
Brindlewood Bay.
Lives, Eric thought that he could sneak behind Edith's back. But Vinny found out and started a mad ritual to summon
So
Cthulhu to
I looked
retirement
it up.
home.
It was a Kickstarter last year. I missed it, unfortunately, because I would have backed this. I'm hoping.
Vivian, Vivian, the fish people are outside again. Vivian, you gotta run them off. They're trying to get in the house. Vivian, stop the fish people.
I'm hoping. I'm really hoping that this thing gets a mass release, or at least I can find a copy on eBay at some point.
The fish people are breaking into the car. They're trying to steal the car.
Now we're Bostonians. So
I need to play this game.
the last game that's on this list is called Fiasco. Fiasco is actually
That's what this podcast has been.
yeah. The last Fiasco actually came out. I played this thing in like 2011, 2012. So
I'm seeing a board with a bunch of cards. I'm not seeing an RPG.
no,
here.
it is an absolute role playing game. I have played this game multiple times.
Okay.
Fiasco came out. I want to say it was 2011, 2012 when I played it, and it had been out. I think a couple of years before that. It was even on what was the show Will Wheaton used to do where they played board games. Yeah,
Will
Wheaton. I think it was called it was called Tabletop, but yeah,
I think it was. Yeah.
Fiasco. It's a very very rules light role playing game where you you see all the cards and stuff. It's going to give you the setting, and
Okay.
like as an example, the setting that we played in, we were a bunch of mobsters. We were Italian mobsters, and I don't remember the specifics of what was going on, but
Oh no! This is like whose line is it
it's
anyway?
very very freeform, like very freeform. You know, it gives you a couple of little things to work off of, and then you just start and you role play and you go back and forth, and there's a few things that can sort of change where the story is going along the way. And the players are sort of just creating their own story. It's almost like playing pretend a lot of the time. And then, somebody might roll a die or flip a card. The cards were not a part of it, by the way. When I played it, not this many. Like there was just one little card to sort of give us the setting and a couple of pointers along the way. And then the dice rolls could force things along. But there wasn't much in the way of dice rolls. There wasn't a whole lot in the way of rules. And if you want to kill 2 to 3 hours, hell of a lot of fun.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down to play that. And it looks like it's got a real low entry price, too. It's just being a deck of cards.
I would not imagine it's more than about $40.
Yeah. So I'm definitely interested in that and Brindlewood Bay. Honestly, Brindlewood Bay has me more excited than Lancer does because I want to play Ethel.
No, I guess I have to play Vivian.
I mean, Ethel, she's been smoking for 48 years and she's 49 years old.
I watched the second Chicken Run movie the other day. Have you seen it? Oh, no, it's absolutely wonderful. Not. It's great, man. Yeah. I mean, the first one, I love the first one. The second one, it's great. It's awesome. Yeah. But it's just that one. Yeah,
20 years
yeah, it is
later.
too. It's much later than it should have been. But the fact that they have that one chicken who's always got the knitting needles, like everywhere she goes, she just has a pair of knitting needles. That's what I imagine in Brindlewood Bay.
Brindlewood Bay sounds like the most fantastic nonsense setting that ever
Yeah.
could have existed. I'm going to pull up a tab so I can buy this
Yep.
thing
Just
later.
have to find a copy of it whenever we're able to.
It's still in Kickstarter.
Yeah, the
stuff,
Kickstarter
isn't it?
is over, and nothing. It wrapped up like a month or
Yeah.
two ago. So it's going to take.
Oh, okay. So it hasn't even
Yeah,
been
it's
to
going to take a
print
while
yet.
before this thing actually hits the market. So I know, right?
Dang.
But that's the best setting I've heard of since.
Daisy, Rose, and Violet enjoy a day at the museum, but there's definitely something strange
Yeah,
about this place. As a tentacle is coming through one of the
yeah,
paintings.
but that's the best setting I've heard of since Bridgetown.
Yeah, and Bridgetown's
Yeah,
pretty interesting.
I need to run that for us at some point soon. I have so many. God, there's so many settings I want to run, and we only get to play like every 2 weeks. It's never enough.
I mean, we've got a game to play test, but you did mention wanting to do some stuff on
that's
Sunday.
a fair point. That is a fair point. Might have to work that up.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm okay.
all right.
With it,
Well,
man.
that's all the topics I've got. You have anything else to add before we wrap this thing up?
I don't know, man. I had a really good pizza the other day.
I do love pizza. What kind?
I mean, it was a freaking pie when you were there.
Oh yeah,
and it had sausage, not sausage,
actually,
pepperoni.
Actually, I talked about that either on the last podcast or on the stream. I don't remember which. It all sort of runs together now.
And we're still talking about it because it was so freaking good.
Yeah,
I mean, I could have a food
I was arguing
podcast.
with Waples. He doesn't like mellow mushroom. He doesn't think it's good pizza. And he's definitely wrong. But then he was going on about he is a New Yorker and they have a lot of Italian eateries up there. So I'm sure he's had good pizza.
I mean, that's fair. He's had probably some better pizza than
I've had some really good pizza. So I don't know. I lived up north. I lived up north for a lot of years too. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to a guy who thinks Little Caesars is good pizza.
Okay, well, now we're done. This podcast over. Bye, Craig.
Sorry, guys. I'm probably never hosting again because of that. Oh.